I was standing in the kitchen when my daughter told me she didn't need me anymore. Christmas lights blinked through the window. The tree we'd picked out together 3 weeks ago stood in the living room, half decorated. My wife Rachel had made hot chocolate. Everything looked normal. Then Emma's phone buzzed on the counter. She picked it up, read something, and her face changed. That look I'd seen more and more lately, the one that said I was in the way. "Dad, I need to talk to you about Christmas." I was holding a mug. Steam rose between us. "Sure, sweetie. What's up?" "I'm spending it with Mom and Richard this year." Richard, her mother's husband, the man who'd swooped in after the divorce, all smiles and money. I'd never said a word against him, not once, though it had cost me plenty to keep quiet. "Just this year, or, I don't know, maybe from now on." She wasn't even looking at me. Her thumbs moved across her phone screen. Texting someone. "Richard's been more of a father to me than you ever were." The words landed clean, no warning, no build-up. Rachel stood in the doorway. I could feel her watching. "Em," I said quietly, "that's a hell of a thing to say. It's true?" Now she looked up. Her eyes were cold. 23 years old, and she looked at me like I was something stuck to her shoe. "You were never there. You were always working. And now Richard actually talks to me, actually cares about what I'm doing with my life. He's successful. He understands ambition. I work to pay for your college. Richard could have paid for it twice over." Rachel moved then, just a step. Emma's husband Brandon was in the next room. I could hear him talking on his phone, loud and confident the way he always was. "Your father gave up a lot for you," Rachel said. Her voice was level but tight. Emma laughed. It wasn't a nice sound. "Like what? Like the house he bought that's barely worth anything now? Like the 10-year-old car he drives?" "Richard drives a Tesla, Mom. 2 of them." "Richard inherited his father's real estate business," I said. "Good for him." "You could have done better. You chose not to. You chose to be mediocre." I set my mug down carefully. The kitchen was silent except for Brandon's voice carrying in from the living room. Something about a client. About closing a deal. "I see." I looked at my daughter. Really looked at her. The way she held herself. The confidence that had nothing behind it but her mother's new money and her husband's borrowed swagger. "Well, you should do what makes you happy." She blinked, like she'd expected me to argue. "That's it? You're not even going to try to change my mind?" "No." Typical. She grabbed her phone, pushed past Rachel. "Come on, Brandon, we're leaving." Brandon appeared, all 6 feet of him, thick in the shoulders from his gym obsession. He looked at me with something like pity. "Hey, man, no hard feelings, right? It's just, family dynamics. They're complicated." I didn't answer. They left. The door closed. The Christmas lights kept blinking. Rachel came and stood next to me. She didn't say anything for a long time. Finally, "Jack." "I know." She didn't mean it. Yes, she did. Rachel's hand found mine. We stood there in our kitchen, in the house I'd bought 20 years ago, in the life I'd built piece by piece, and I felt something shift inside me, something cold and clean. "The Tokyo offer," I said. Rachel's grip tightened. "Jack, no." I turned it down 5 times. Because of her. Because I thought she needed me here. "She does need you." She just told me she doesn't. I looked at my wife. We'd been together 26 years, married for 24. She knew me better than anyone. "If you take that job," she said slowly, "everything changes." Everything already changed. I'm just acknowledging it. She studied my face. I watched her understand. "How long?" she asked. "Minimum 2 years. Could be longer." "And Emma?" "Emma has Richard now, and Brandon. She'll be fine." Rachel was quiet. Then she said something that surprised me. "Do it." I turned to her. "Do it," she said again. Her voice was steady. "Take the job. Go to Tokyo. I'll stay here. I'll handle things." "Rachel." "She needs to learn something, Jack. So does that little shit she married." Rachel almost never swore. Her eyes were bright. "You've protected her from everything her whole life. You've given her everything, and she throws it back in your face on Christmas. So yes, take the job." I pulled out my phone. The message was still there. Had been there for 3 months. Matsuda International was offering me a position as senior logistics consultant for their Asia-Pacific infrastructure division. Based in Tokyo, significant pay increase, housing stipend, full relocation package. I'd said no because Emma had just gotten engaged, because I wanted to be here for the wedding planning, because I thought she needed her father. I opened my email. Typed 3 sentences. Hit send. It's done, I said. Rachel nodded. She looked tired. When do they need you? They've been waiting for months. I can probably start in 3 weeks. That soon? That soon? The Christmas lights kept blinking. I wondered if Emma would even notice I was gone. 3 days later, I got the response. Matsuda was thrilled. They wanted me in Tokyo by the 1st of January. My contract was attached. The salary made my current job look like charity work. I signed it, told my boss I was resigning, started packing. Emma didn't call, didn't text, nothing. I sold my car, sold most of my things. Rachel helped me sort through 24 years of accumulated life. We didn't talk much. There was a strange electricity in the house, like before a storm. Brandon posted on social media about his new car, a BMW. Emma commented with heart emojis. I wondered how they'd afforded it. Brandon worked in sales. Emma was finishing her graduate degree, something about marketing or communications I couldn't remember. They lived in a condo across town. Nice place. Not too expensive, but not cheap either. Richard's money, probably. Or maybe Brandon's commissions were better than I'd thought. I didn't ask. 2 weeks went by. Rachel started asking careful questions. Have you told Emma about Tokyo? No. Jack. She has Richard. She'll be fine. She's still your daughter. Is she? Rachel didn't have an answer for that. I told Emma the day before I left. Called her. She didn't pick up. I texted. Flying to Tokyo tomorrow. New job. We'll call when I'm settled. She responded 6 hours later. Okay. That was it. 1 word. Lowercase. Rachel drove me to the airport. It was dark. January rain hammered the windshield. We sat in the departures lane with the engine running. You can still change your mind, she said. No, I can't. She'll call? Maybe. Jack, I need you to promise me something. I looked at her. Promise me you won't forget who you are. I'm not forgetting anything. I'm remembering. She kissed me. It was a long kiss, the kind that meant goodbye in a way that wasn't temporary. I'll take care of things here, she said. I know you will. I got out, got my bag, walked into the airport, didn't look back. The flight was 14 hours. I slept most of it. Dreamless sleep, the kind that feels like falling. Tokyo appeared below, gray and massive and humming with life. The city spread out like a circuit board, precise and endless. I cleared customs, found my way to the company apartment, 9th floor, small and clean, everything I needed and nothing I didn't. I unpacked, made tea, sat by the window and watched Tokyo move. My phone buzzed. Rachel. Landed. Me. Yes. Everything good there? Rachel. Yes. Emma called, asked where you were. I waited. Rachel. I told her. Me. And? Rachel. She said, oh. I set my phone down, stood at the window. The city lights stretched forever. Millions of people living millions of lives, none of them caring about a daughter who'd called her father a loser, none of them caring about anything except what was right in front of them. It felt good. I went to bed, started my new life. 1 week later, my phone rang at 2 a.m, Emma's name on the screen. I answered. Dad? Her voice was wrong, high and scared. Dad, you need to come home. Right now. I need you. Dad, please. I sat up, turned on the light. Emma, slow down. What's wrong? I can't. Dad, everything's falling apart. Brandon and I were... Dad, I need help. Real help. Can you come home? I was quiet. Dad, I'm here. You'll come home, right? You'll fix this? I looked around my small Tokyo apartment. The clean walls, the silence. Tell me what happened. It's too much to explain. Just please. I'm sorry about what I said. I didn't mean it. I need my father. Something in her voice. Something not quite right. Where's Richard? I asked. Silence. Emma, where's Richard? He can't help with this. Why not? Dad, just please. I need to know what happened before I fly 14 hours. More silence. Then quietly. We lost the condo. I absorbed that. Lost it how? We couldn't make the payments. And there were other things. Credit cards, loans. Brandon's commission stopped coming through, and I thought Richard would help, but he said we're adults, and we need to figure it out ourselves, and Mom agrees with him, and I don't know what to do. I should have felt something. Sympathy, maybe. Concern? Instead, I felt that cold, clean feeling again. You told me I was a loser, I said. You told me Richard was more of a father than I ever was. I was angry. I didn't mean it. You did mean it. Dad? Richard was successful. Richard understood ambition. Those were your words. I know, I'm sorry, I was wrong. Please, I'm begging you, I have nowhere else to go. I looked at the clock. 2:30 in the morning, Tokyo time. Mid-morning back home. Where are you right now? At Mom's, but Richard doesn't want us here. He says we're not his problem. And what does your mother say? Emma started crying. She agrees with him. She said I made my choice. Dad, please, you're the only one who can help me. I thought about Christmas, about her cold eyes, about the way she'd looked at me like I was nothing. Emma, I said, I need you to understand something. What? I spent 23 years building a life that would give you everything. I worked jobs I hated. I drove old cars. I lived in a modest house. I did all of it for you. And when you told me I was a loser, I realized something. Dad, I realized you never saw any of it. You never understood what it cost. So I stopped. I stepped away. And now you're seeing what life looks like without me. That's not fair, isn't it? So you're just going to leave me here. You're going to abandon me. You abandoned me first. I'm your daughter. Then act like it. I hung up. The phone immediately started ringing again. I turned it off. Sat in the dark. My hands were shaking. After a long time, I got up, made tea, stood at the window again. The sun was rising over Tokyo. The city woke up, steel and glass and forward motion. I didn't turn my phone back on. Before we go any further, hit the hype button, take a second to subscribe and like the video. It really helps the channel grow. And tell us in the comments, what would you do in this situation? The next morning, I went to work like nothing had happened. Matsuda International occupied 3 floors of a tower in Minato. Glass and steel, views of the bay, everything efficient and quiet. My team was small, 2 junior analysts, both Japanese, both brilliant and serious and focused. Nobody asked about my personal life. Nobody made small talk. We worked. I reviewed infrastructure contracts for port facilities across Southeast Asia. Numbers and logistics and risk assessment. Clean problems with clean solutions. Everything made sense. At lunch, I ate alone at my desk. At 5, I left the building and walked through streets where nobody knew me. Bought groceries from a convenience store where the cashier bowed and said nothing. Went back to my apartment and cooked dinner in silence. My phone stayed off. 3 days went by like this. On the 4th day, I turned my phone back on. 47 missed calls, most from Emma, some from Rachel, one from a number I didn't recognize, 32 text messages. I scrolled through them. Emma. Dad, please pick up. Emma. I'm sorry. Emma. Dad. I really need to talk to you. Emma. This isn't fair. Emma. Fine. Don't help me then. See if I care. Emma. Dad? The messages went on. Desperate, then angry, then desperate again. Rachel's messages were different. Rachel. She's falling apart. Rachel. Brandon is worse. He's not handling the pressure well. Rachel. Jack, I know what you're doing. I understand. But be careful. Rachel. She asked if she could move in with us. I said no. I stared at that last one, called Rachel. It was evening in Tokyo, morning back home. She answered on the first ring. Jack? You said no? I said no. I waited. She made her choice, Rachel said. Her voice was steady. She chose Richard over you, over us. She spent 2 years telling me how much better her life would be with her mother and that man, how much more sophisticated they were, how we were small town and boring. She said it to my face, Jack, multiple times. I didn't know that. You weren't supposed to. I didn't want to put you in the middle. She paused. But now there is no middle. There's you in Tokyo and her here, learning what consequences feel like. Where are they living? A motel off Highway 9, the cheap one with the hourly rates. I closed my eyes. Brandon lost his job. Rachel continued. The company found out he'd been inflating his sales reports. He wasn't closing deals. He was lying about closing deals. They fired him 3 weeks ago. He didn't tell Emma for 2 weeks. How did you find this out? Amanda Greer works in his office. She called me, thought I should know. Amanda was Rachel's oldest friend. She said Brandon was a disaster. Came in hungover, missed meetings, got belligerent with clients. And Emma? Emma's graduate program dropped her. What? She stopped going to classes, stopped turning in work. They gave her warnings. She ignored them. They withdrew her admission 2 days ago. I sat down. Jack, she's spiraling. Both of them are. And I'm watching it happen, and I'm not doing anything to stop it. You sound guilty. I am guilty. She's my daughter, too. She chose this. Did she? Or did we push her into it by leaving? Rachel. I kept my voice level. She called me a loser. On Christmas, in our home. She told me Richard was her real father. Those weren't heat-of-the-moment words. That was what she really thought. I know. So this isn't us pushing her. This is us stepping back and letting her see what she actually has without us there to catch her. Rachel was quiet for a long moment. I had coffee with Linda Maxwell yesterday. Linda was a mutual friend, someone who'd known us since Emma was little. She asked where Emma was living. I told her. She looked at me like I was a monster. Rachel's voice cracked slightly. Maybe I am. You're not. Then what am I doing? You're letting an adult face adult consequences. She's 23. Exactly. She's not a child. She made choices. This is what those choices look like. I heard Rachel breathe, in and out, trying to steady herself. There's something else, she said. What? Brandon came by the house 3 days ago, while I was home alone. My grip on the phone tightened. And? He wanted money. Said Emma needed help, and I was her mother, and I had a responsibility. I told him no. He got angry. Started yelling. Did he touch you? No, but he wanted to. I could see it. I'm coming home. No. Rachel. No, Jack. If you come home now, you're playing into exactly what they want. They're trying to force our hands, both of them. Emma with her crying calls, Brandon with his intimidation tactics. If you come back, they win. I don't care about winning. I do. Her voice went hard. I care that my daughter learns she can't manipulate people. I care that her husband learns he can't bully women into giving him money. If you come back now, they learn nothing. If he comes back, I'll call the police. Will you? Silence. Rachel, if he comes back and gets physical, you call the police. Promise me. I promise. I didn't believe her. But I also knew Rachel was right. If I flew home now, Emma would see it as proof that she could still control me, that Daddy would always bail her out. Keep me updated, I said. Every day. I will. And if anything happens, anything, you call me immediately. Okay. I love you. I love you too. Jack? Yeah? I'm scared I'm doing the wrong thing. You're not. How do you know? Because the right thing feels terrible. That's how you know it's right. She laughed. It was a sad sound. When did you become so philosophical? When I moved to a country where nobody knows me and I had to figure out who I am without my daughter telling me I'm worthless. You were never worthless. Try telling Emma that. We hung up. I sat in my apartment and stared at the wall. Brandon had gone to my house, had yelled at my wife, had wanted to get physical. I should have been furious. Should have been on the next flight home. Instead, I felt something else, something calculating. I pulled out my laptop, opened a browser, started searching. Brandon had an active social media presence, posted constantly, photos of his life, his car, his achievements. The feed had been steady until about a month ago. Then it stopped. I scrolled back. Found posts from 6 months ago. Brandon standing next to his BMW. Caption, "Success isn't given, it's taken." Emma in the comments, "So proud of you, baby." 3 months ago, Brandon at some industry conference. Caption, "Closing deals and taking names." Emma, "That's my man." 2 months ago, Brandon at a bar with friends. Caption, "Champions celebrate." Emma, "Love watching you win." Then nothing. I switched to Emma's profile. She'd been posting regularly, too. Carefully curated photos of her life. Her and Brandon, her and her mother, her at restaurants, her with shopping bags, her looking sophisticated and happy. The last post was from 3 weeks ago, a photo of her and Brandon at dinner. The smile looked forced. No post since. I clicked on her mother's profile. Christine, my ex-wife. She'd remarried 7 years ago. Richard was some kind of real estate developer. Big houses, big cars, big everything. Christine's feed was full of luxury. But recently, her posts had changed too. Less couples photos, more solo shots. Her at a spa, her at lunch with friends, her looking expensive and untouchable. No posts with Emma at all in the past month. I closed the laptop. Thought about what Rachel had said. About Emma spiraling. About Brandon losing his job. About them living in a motel. I tried to feel sympathy. Couldn't find it. Work became my meditation. I arrived early, stayed late. The contracts and assessments and risk analyses were complicated but solvable. Everything had rules. Everything made sense. My team noticed my focus, appreciated it. We finished projects ahead of schedule. Matsuda himself came down to our floor one day. Older man, gray hair, immaculate suit, shook my hand, told me in careful English that I was exceeding expectations. "You are very dedicated," he said. "I like clear problems." He smiled slightly. "Yes, life is rarely clear, but work can be." After he left, one of my analysts, Yuki, brilliant with logistics modeling, approached me. "Anderson-san, may I ask a personal question?" "Sure. You seem very focused, very driven, but also very quiet. Is everything okay?" I looked at her. She was maybe 26, serious and professional. "My daughter told me she didn't need me anymore," I said. "So I took a job 8,000 miles away." Yuki nodded slowly. "And now?" "Now she needs me, and I'm not there." "Does that make you sad?" "No." Yuki considered this. "In Japan, we have a concept, gaman. It means enduring the seemingly unbearable with patience and dignity." "Is that what I'm doing?" "I don't know, but it seems like strength to me." She bowed slightly and went back to her desk. I thought about that. Gammon. Enduring. Was that what this was? Or was it something else? That night, Rachel called again. "Emma's pregnant." The words hit like a fist. "What?" "She told me today. She's 8 weeks. She's known for 3 weeks and didn't tell anyone." "Does Brandon know?" "Yes. That's why he came here asking for money. They have no insurance, no income, no way to pay for prenatal care." I sat down. "Jesus. She wants to keep it. Brandon wants to keep it. But they have nothing, Jack. They can barely afford the motel." "Did she ask you for money?" "Yes." "What did you say?" "I said no." Silence. "Rachel, before you say anything, let me finish. I told her I would help on one condition. She has to call you and apologize. Really apologize, not just say sorry because she wants something, and she has to acknowledge what she said at Christmas and why it was wrong." "Did she agree?" "She hung up on me." I closed my eyes. "There's a baby now." "I know." "Rachel, I can't let my grandchild—" "That baby is not here yet. Right now it's a possibility. And Emma needs to understand that her choices affect that possibility. If she wants help, she needs to start acting like an adult." "You're being cruel." "Am I? Or am I being honest?" Rachel's voice was sharp. "She's pregnant, Jack. She's bringing a child into the world. And right now she's living in a motel with a man who got fired for lying and who tried to intimidate me in our own home. Is that the environment we want for our grandchild? No. Then Emma needs to make changes, real changes, and those changes start with understanding what she did and why it was wrong." I wanted to argue, wanted to say we should help regardless. But Rachel was right. "How long do we wait?" I asked. "As long as it takes." "What if she doesn't call?" "Then she doesn't call." "Rachel, there's a limit to this." "I know, we're not there yet." We hung up. I stood at my window. Tokyo spread out below, alive and indifferent. Somewhere back home, my daughter was pregnant and living in a motel, and I was 8,000 miles away, refusing to help her. The cold, clean feeling was gone. Now I just felt hollow. 2 more weeks passed. Emma didn't call. Rachel sent updates, brief texts, no commentary. They're still at the motel. Brandon found part-time work at a warehouse. Emma applied for Medicaid. Her mother won't see her. That last one stopped me. I called Rachel. "Christine won't see her own daughter?" Richard put his foot down, said Emma made her choices and needs to live with them. Christine agreed. "That's insane." "Is it?" She learned it from watching us. "We're not refusing to see Emma. We're just refusing to help her until she apologizes. What's the difference?" "The difference is—" I stopped. Couldn't finish the sentence. "Exactly," Rachel said. I changed the subject. "How are you?" "Tired, angry, sad, all of it. I should come home." "Not yet." "When?" "When she's ready, or when I can't take it anymore. Whichever comes first." 3 days later, Brandon showed up at the house again. Rachel called me right after. It was 3 in the morning, Tokyo time. Her voice was shaking. "He came back, tonight. He was drunk, started banging on the door, yelling, saying we were monsters." "Did you call the police?" "No." "Why not?" "Because I opened the door and told him if he ever came back, I would call the police and get a restraining order and make sure Emma knew he was the reason she couldn't see her own mother. And then I slammed the door in his face." "Rachel, he left. He's gone." "You can't do that again. Next time you call the police first." "There won't be a next time. He knows I mean it." "You don't know that." "Yes, I do. I saw his face, Jack. He's scared. He's desperate and scared and in over his head. He won't come back. I wanted to believe her. How do you know? Because I've been married to you for 24 years. I know what men look like when they're out of options. He's out of options. The next morning, Emma called me. I almost didn't answer. Stared at her name on the screen for 3 rings. Finally picked up. Dad. Her voice was different, smaller. Emma. I need to tell you something. I waited. I'm sorry. She took a breath. I'm sorry for what I said at Christmas. I'm sorry I called you a loser. I'm sorry I said Richard was more of a father than you. None of it was true. I was angry and stupid, and I hurt you. And I'm sorry. I sat down. Okay. That's it? Just okay? What do you want me to say? I don't know. That you forgive me? Do you think you deserve to be forgiven? Silence. Then quietly. No. Why not? Because I didn't just hurt you. I hurt Mom too. I've been horrible to her for years. Telling her she wasn't good enough, that her life was small, that I deserved better. And she just took it. She never fought back. Never said anything. Emma's voice cracked. Until now. Until now, I echoed. She told me I have to fix this myself. She told me you both love me, but you're done enabling me. She said I'm an adult, and I need to act like one. She's right. I know, but Dad, I'm pregnant. I'm scared. I have no money, no home, no plan. Brandon's falling apart. We're living in a place with cockroaches, and I can't afford prenatal vitamins, and I don't know what to do. My daughter, my little girl. Pregnant and scared and living in a motel. Every instinct screamed at me to fix it, to send money, to fly home, to make it all better. Instead, I said, what do you think you should do? I don't know. Yes, you do. I don't, I swear. Emma, you're 23 years old. Oh, you graduated college, you got into grad school, you're not stupid. You know exactly what you need to do. You just don't want to do it. Silence. Tell me, I said. What do you need to do? I need to leave Brandon. There it was. Why? Because he's not who I thought he was. He's a liar. He's angry all the time. He blames everyone else for his problems. He scares me sometimes. Her voice dropped to a whisper. Dad, I think I made a mistake marrying him. You did. You could have told me. I tried. You didn't want to hear it. I know. We sat in silence for a moment, 8,000 miles apart. If you leave him, I said carefully, what happens next? I don't know. I have nowhere to go. Mom won't take me. You're in Japan. I have no friends left. I burned all those bridges. I'm alone. Are you? What do you mean? You have your mother. You just said she told you to fix this yourself. That's not abandonment, Emma. That's tough love. It feels like abandonment. Because you're used to being rescued, but rescue isn't love. It's enabling. Emma started crying. I don't know how to do this. Yes, you do. You call a women's shelter. You file for assistance. You find resources. You make a plan. You act like an adult. By myself? Yes. That's so hard. I know. But you can do hard things. You've just never had to before. She cried for a long time. I didn't try to stop her, just listened. Finally, she said, Will you come home? Not yet. When? When you've done what you need to do. That's not fair. Life isn't fair. You taught me that. Remember? On Christmas? She flinched. I could hear it through the phone. I love you, I said. But I can't save you from yourself. Nobody can. You have to do that. And if I don't? Then you live in a motel with a man you're scared of and raise a baby in poverty. Those are your choices. Some choice. It's more than I had when I was your age. I had you, a failed marriage, and a job I hated. I made it work. So can you. Emma was quiet for a long time. Then she said, I'll try. Good. Dad? Yeah? I really am sorry. I know you are. We hung up. I sat in my apartment and stared at nothing. Wondered if I'd just done the right thing or destroyed my relationship with my daughter forever. Couldn't tell the difference. Brandon got out of jail 3 days later. His lawyer argued that he'd been drunk, that it was a first offense for violating the restraining order, that he had a job and was seeking therapy. The judge gave him probation and a stern warning. Emma found out from the victim advocate who called her Tuesday afternoon. I was there when she got the call, watched her face drain of color. He's out, she said after hanging up. They let him out. Rachel came into the living room. When? This morning. He has to wear an ankle monitor, has to stay 500 feet away from me, but he's out. The ankle monitor will alert if he gets close, I said. That's something. That's nothing. Dad, he doesn't care. He violated the restraining order. He'll violate this too. She wasn't wrong. I called the victim advocate back, asked what else could be done. We can help her relocate, the woman said. New apartment, new job if needed. Start fresh somewhere he doesn't know about. How long does that take? 2 to 3 weeks to process, maybe longer. She's due in 2 months. I understand. We'll expedite as much as we can. I hung up. Emma was standing by the window, looking out at the street, hand on her belly. What if he comes here? She asked. Then I'll handle it, I said. How? Whatever way I need to. Rachel gave me a look, a warning look, but I meant it. If Brandon showed up at our house, I would do whatever it took to protect my daughter. Work helped pass the time. I'd been away for months, and my old position had been filled, but I still had contacts, made some calls, found consulting work I could do from home. Not as much money as Tokyo, but enough. Emma spent her days applying for new jobs in different cities. Portland, maybe, or Denver, somewhere far enough that Brandon wouldn't think to look. Rachel went back to her teaching job, left me and Emma alone during the days. It was strange at first. We moved around each other carefully, like strangers learning to share space. Slowly we started talking, about the baby, about names, about what kind of mother she wanted to be. I don't want to be like Mom, she said one afternoon. We were folding baby clothes donated by Rachel's friends. No offense to her, but she always let people walk over her. She never stood up for herself. Your mom is stronger than you think. Maybe now, but when you two were married, she just took everything you threw at her. I never threw anything at your mother. You know what I mean. You worked all the time. You were never home. She raised me alone. I was providing for you. You were running away from us. The words landed hard. Is that what you think? That's what I know. Mom told me, after the divorce. She said you couldn't handle being a family, said you needed space to breathe, so you worked constantly and she picked up the pieces. I set down the baby clothes. Emma, your mother and I had problems, adult problems. But I never ran away from you. I was there for every birthday, every school event, every important moment. The ones you knew about. How many did you miss because you were working? I don't know. Probably too many. Yeah, probably. We folded in silence for a while. Then Emma said, I don't want my daughter to feel like that. Like what? Like she has to perform to get her father's attention, like she's in competition with his job. That's not how you felt? Yes, it was. And then Richard showed up and suddenly I had someone who actually wanted to spend time with me, who asked about my life, who cared. I always cared. You had a funny way of showing it. I wanted to argue, to defend myself, to explain all the reasons I'd worked so hard. Instead I said, You're right. I should have been there more. I'm sorry. Emma looked surprised. Really? Really. I failed you in a lot of ways. And I'm sorry for that. She was quiet for a long moment. I failed you too, she said finally. What I said at Christmas, that was cruel. You didn't deserve that. No, I didn't. I was angry. At you, at Mom, at my life. Brandon kept telling me my family didn't respect me, that they thought I was a kid. He kept pushing me to cut ties, and I listened. Why? Because he made me feel important, like I was the center of his world. I didn't realize that was control, not love. How do you tell the difference? Love gives you space. Control traps you. She folded a tiny onesie. I'm learning that now. We kept folding. The pile of clothes grew. What will you tell your daughter about Brandon? I asked. The truth. That I made a mistake. That I married someone I shouldn't have. That she deserves better than a father who scares her mother. Will you let him see her? Only if a court makes me, and even then, supervised only. He might push for custody. Let him try. I've got documentation, police reports, restraining orders, witness statements. No judge is giving him custody. You sound certain. I am certain. I'll fight him on this. I'll fight him on everything. I looked at my daughter, 7 months pregnant, determined, fierce. Good, I said. Fight him. That night, Rachel came home with news. I talked to Linda. Her brother is a lawyer, family law. He said he'd help Emma pro bono. That's generous. Linda's been worried about Emma. We all have. She wants to help. Emma came downstairs. Help with what? Linda's brother is a lawyer. He'll represent you. No charge. Emma's eyes filled. Really? Really? You have an appointment Thursday at 2. Emma hugged Rachel, started crying. Rachel held her and met my eyes over Emma's shoulder. We were building something, a safety net, a plan. Thursday came. I drove Emma to the lawyer's office. His name was David Maxwell. 40s, professional, kind eyes. We sat in his conference room and he asked questions, took notes, didn't judge. "Here's what we're going to do," he said after an hour. "First, we're going to file for sole custody before the baby is born. That way there's no ambiguity when she arrives. Second, we're going to document everything Brandon does. Every violation, every threat, every contact. Third, we're going to prepare for the possibility that he tries to fight this in court." "Will he win?" Emma asked. "No, not with this history. But he might try, and if he does, we'll be ready." "What do I need to do?" "Keep records. Save every text, every voicemail, every piece of evidence. Don't respond to him. Don't engage. Let everything go through me." Emma nodded. "Okay. And Emma, you're doing the right thing. This is hard, but you're protecting your daughter. Remember that." We left feeling better, like we had a plan, like maybe this would actually work. That night, Brandon started texting. My phone lit up first. Unknown number. "Stay out of this, old man. Emma is my wife. That's my kid." I showed Rachel. "He's texting me now. Don't respond." "I won't." Emma's phone buzzed, then again and again. She looked at the screen. Her face went pale. "He's sending pictures." "Of what?" "Our wedding, the condo, me, all of it, saying I'm his, saying I can't keep his daughter from him." "Block the number. He'll just use another one." She was right. Over the next hour, Brandon sent 50 texts from different numbers, each one more desperate than the last. Emma was shaking. I took her phone, powered it off. "We're taking this to David tomorrow, all of it. It won't matter. He won't stop. Then we make him stop." But how? That was the question. The ankle monitor would alert if Brandon got within 500 feet. But that didn't prevent him from texting, from calling, from harassing Emma digitally. And something told me he wasn't going to stay away forever. I was right. Friday night, I was in the kitchen making dinner. Rachel was upstairs with Emma. The sun was setting, everything quiet. Then I saw him, Brandon, standing across the street, just standing there, staring at the house. I walked outside. He saw me, didn't move. I crossed the street, slow and deliberate. "You need to leave." "I'm not on your property. I'm 500 feet away. I checked." "You're violating the spirit of the restraining order." "Prove it." He smiled, mean and sharp. "I'm on a public street. I can stand here all night if I want." "What do you want, Brandon?" "I want to talk to my wife." "She's not your wife anymore. The divorce isn't final. Legally, she's still mine." "People aren't property." "Tell that to her. Tell her she can't just take my kid and disappear." "Your kid? You scared her. You stalked her. You violated a restraining order." "I was drunk. I made mistakes. I'm getting help." "Good. Get help somewhere else." He stepped closer. Still 500 feet from the house, but closer to me. "You think you're her savior? You think flying back from Tokyo makes you father of the year?" "I think you need to leave before I call the cops." "Call them. I'm not doing anything wrong." He was right. Technically, he wasn't. He was far enough from the house, on public property. But we both knew what he was doing. Intimidation, control. "Brandon, listen to me carefully. You're never going to see that baby. Emma will fight you with everything she has, and she'll win, because you're a violent, unstable, manipulative coward who preys on vulnerable women. No judge is giving you custody." His smile disappeared. "You don't know what you're talking about." "Don't I? I know you lost your job for lying. I know you got arrested for violating the restraining order. I know you're texting my daughter 50 times a day from burner phones. That's the behavior of a guilty man, a scared man. I'm not scared of you. You should be." We stood there, eye to eye, the street quiet except for distant traffic. "This isn't over," he said finally. "Yes, it is. You just don't know it yet." He stared at me for another moment, then turned and walked away. I watched him go, made sure he got in his car, made sure he drove off. Then I called the police, reported everything. The standing across the street, the conversation, all of it. They said they'd document it but couldn't arrest him. He hadn't technically violated anything. I hung up, went back inside. Rachel was standing in the kitchen. "What happened?" "Brandon was outside. I talked to him." "Jack? He's gone, for now." Emma came downstairs. "Was that Brandon?" "Yes." "What did he want?" "To intimidate us. He failed." But that night, none of us slept well, and I knew this was just the beginning. Brandon came back the next night, and the night after that, always standing exactly 500 feet away, always staying just inside the legal limit, always watching. Emma stopped going outside, kept the curtains closed, jumped at every sound. "He's trying to break me," she said. "He's trying to break all of us," Rachel replied. "We won't let him." But the strain was showing. Rachel started missing work. I couldn't focus on consulting calls. Emma wasn't sleeping, which meant the baby wasn't getting rest either. David filed a motion to extend the restraining order to 1,000 feet. The court date was set for 3 weeks out. "That's too long," Emma said. "I know, but it's the best I can do." Meanwhile, the texts kept coming. Different numbers, same message. Emma was his. The baby was his. He wasn't going away. Emma changed her number 3 times. Brandon found it every time. "How is he getting my new number?" Emma asked. "Mutual friends, maybe," I said. "Or he's paying someone to track you." "That's illegal." "So is stalking. He doesn't care." A week passed, then 2. Brandon started showing up during the day. When I took Emma to doctor appointments, when Rachel went grocery shopping, always 500 feet away, always watching, the victim advocate told us to document everything. Every sighting, every text, every violation of basic human decency. We did. The file grew thick. "This will help in court," David said. "Shows pattern, shows intent." "I don't want to go to court," Emma said. "I want him gone." "I know. We're working on it." But working on it meant waiting, and waiting meant more nights of Brandon standing across the street, more texts, more fear. Emma was 34 weeks now. The baby could come any time in the next 6 weeks. Emma was exhausted, swollen feet, back pain, insomnia. And on top of it all, the constant terror that Brandon would do something worse. "What if he tries something at the hospital?" Emma asked one night. "When I'm in labor, when I'm vulnerable." "We'll have security," Rachel said. "I've already talked to the hospital. They know the situation." "What if that's not enough?" "Then I'll be there," I said. "I won't leave your side." "Promise?" "Promise." But I was making promises I wasn't sure I could keep. Brandon was escalating. We could all feel it. The court date for the extended restraining order finally arrived. We went together. Emma, Rachel, me, and David. Brandon was there with his lawyer. He looked terrible. Thinner, hollow-eyed, desperate. The judge listened to both sides, reviewed the evidence, the texts, the documented violations, the witness statements. "Mr. Mitchell," the judge said, "you are engaging in a pattern of harassment that borders on stalking. The fact that you're staying exactly 500 feet away does not make your behavior acceptable. Your Honor, I'm just trying to see my wife, your soon-to-be ex-wife, who has made it clear she does not want contact with you, who has filed multiple reports with police, who is carrying a child you've made no meaningful effort to support." Brandon's lawyer tried to interject. The judge cut him off. "I'm extending the restraining order to 1,000 feet. Any violation will result in immediate arrest and jail time. Do you understand?" "Yes, Your Honor." "I'm also ordering you to cease all contact with Ms. Mitchell. No texts, no calls, no emails, no social media. If you have something to say, you go through your lawyer. Understood?" "Yes, Your Honor." "Good. Because if you appear before me again, I'm putting you in jail for contempt. We're done here." We left the courthouse feeling lighter. The restraining order was extended. Brandon had been warned. "That should help," David said. "He knows the consequences now." "Will it stop him?" Emma asked. "It should, but we'll keep monitoring." We went home. Emma slept for the first time in weeks. Rachel made dinner. I sat in the kitchen and felt something like hope. It lasted 3 days. Then Brandon broke into Emma's old apartment. The landlord called the police. They found him inside, going through her old belongings. He was arrested on the spot. David called us with the news. "He's in custody. They're charging him with breaking and entering, violating the restraining order, and trespassing." "Will they keep him this time?" I asked. "They should. This is his second violation, and breaking in is serious." Emma was visibly relieved. "So he's in jail?" "For now. The arraignment is tomorrow. We'll know more then." But tomorrow came with bad news. Brandon's father posted bail. "How much?" Rachel asked David. $50,000. His father mortgaged his house. "So he's out again." "He's out, but with stricter conditions, GPS monitoring, daily check-ins with probation, no alcohol, mandatory therapy." "That's it? After everything he's done?" "I know it's not enough, but the system is designed to give people multiple chances, even when they don't deserve them." Emma was crying. Rachel held her. I stood at the window, staring out at the street where Brandon had stood so many nights. Something dark and cold settled in my chest. The system wasn't going to protect my daughter, so I would have to. That night, I made a decision. I called an old friend from my logistics days, someone who'd worked in private security before moving into infrastructure consulting. Jack, been a while. Yeah, listen, I need advice. Personal situation. Guy stalking my daughter. Legal system isn't stopping him. How bad? I told him. Everything. The restraining orders, the violations, the break-in, all of it. He was quiet for a long time. Jack, what you're describing is a guy who's going to escalate to violence. Maybe not today, maybe not tomorrow, but eventually they always do. So what do I do? Legally, you've done everything you can. Restraining orders, police reports, court orders, you're checking all the boxes. And illegally? I didn't hear you say that. I'm serious. So am I. Jack, I know what you're asking, and I'm telling you, don't. Because once you go down that road, you can't come back. And if something happens to this guy, you're the first person the cops will look at. Then what do I do? Wait for him to hurt my daughter? You do what fathers have done forever. You make it clear that if he touches her, there will be consequences. Real consequences. And you make sure he believes you. I've tried that. He doesn't care. Then you haven't been convincing enough. We hung up. I sat in the dark and thought about what he'd said. About consequences. About making Brandon believe. About how far I was willing to go to protect Emma. The next day, I went to Brandon's apartment. I'd gotten the address from the court documents. A cheap complex on the east side. 3rd floor, unit 317. I knocked. No answer. Knocked again, harder. The door opened. Brandon stood there in sweatpants and a stained t-shirt. He looked like hell. What do you want? To talk. I've got nothing to say to you. Good. Then you can listen. I pushed past him into the apartment. It was a disaster. Empty beer bottles everywhere. Fast food containers, the smell of stale cigarettes and desperation. Get out of my place. You broke into my daughter's apartment. I think I'm entitled to a visit. He glared at me. I was looking for my things. You were looking for leverage, some way to control her. It didn't work. She's my wife. She stopped being your wife the moment you put your hands on her. I never touched her. You shoved my wife. You pounded on Emma's door drunk at 2 a.m. You violated restraining orders. You broke into her apartment. Don't tell me you're not violent. He stepped closer, trying to intimidate me. I didn't move. You need to back off, old man. Or what? Or you'll regret it. I laughed. Couldn't help it. Brandon, look at yourself. Look at your life. You're living in a shithole apartment with beer bottles on every surface. You lost your job. Your wife left you. Your father had to mortgage his house to bail you out. And you're threatening me? His face went red. Get out. I'm leaving, but first I'm going to tell you something, and you're going to listen very carefully. I stepped closer, invaded his space the way he'd invaded Emma's. If you come near my daughter again, I will destroy you. Not legally, not through the courts. I will personally make sure your life becomes a living hell. Do you understand? You can't do anything to me. Can't I? Brandon, I spent 20 years in international logistics. I know people in a dozen countries, people who move things, people who make problems disappear, and right now, you're a problem. It was mostly bullshit, but he didn't know that. You're bluffing. Am I? You want to find out? We stared at each other. I could see him calculating, trying to figure out if I was serious. I made sure my face showed nothing but cold certainty. Stay away from Emma, I said quietly. Stay away from my family, or I will make you regret every decision you've ever made. I left before he could respond, walked to my car on shaking legs, drove home wondering if I'd just made things better or worse. That night, Emma went into labor. The contractions started at 11 at night. Emma woke Rachel first. Rachel woke me. We were in the car within 20 minutes. The hospital was ready. Private room, security notified. Emma's name kept off the general directory. Everything we'd arranged. Labor was long. 18 hours of pain and exhaustion and fear. But Emma was strong, stronger than I'd thought possible. Rachel coached her breathing, held her hand. I stayed by the door, watching for Brandon. He never came. At 4:30 in the afternoon, my granddaughter was born. 6 pounds, 8 ounces. Perfect. Emma held her and cried. Rachel cried. I stood there feeling something huge and terrifying and overwhelming. What's her name? The nurse asked. Emma looked at me. Grace. Her name is Grace. That's beautiful, Rachel said. It means unearned favor, Emma said quietly. I figured we could all use some of that. We stayed in the hospital for 2 days. Emma recovered. Grace slept and ate and existed in that perfect newborn way. Security checked in every few hours. No sign of Brandon. No attempts to contact. Nothing. David filed for sole custody before we left the hospital. Included all the documentation, all the evidence, all the violations. This should be straightforward, he said, but Brandon has the right to contest. If he does, we go to court. When will we know? 2 weeks, maybe. He has to be formally served. We took Grace home on a Wednesday morning. Spring sunshine, warm breeze, everything hopeful. The house felt different with a baby in it, smaller and bigger at the same time. Emma set up in her old bedroom. Rachel turned the spare room into a nursery. I installed new locks on all the doors. You think he'll come here? Rachel asked. I don't know, but I'm not taking chances. That night, Brandon was served with the custody papers. David called the next morning. He's contesting, wants joint custody, supervised visitation at minimum. He's insane. He's desperate, but he won't win. The evidence is overwhelming. When's the hearing? 4 weeks. I'll prepare Emma. We'll be ready. 4 weeks. A month of waiting. A month of wondering if Brandon would do something crazy. Emma tried to focus on Grace, on feedings and diapers and sleepless nights, being a mother. But I could see the fear. Every time a car drove by. Every unexpected noise. Every shadow at the window. He's not coming, I told her one night. I talked to him. He knows what will happen if he does. What did you say to him? That there would be consequences? What kind of consequences? The kind that don't involve the police. Emma looked at me. Really looked. Dad, you can't... I didn't do anything illegal. I just made sure he understood the situation. Did it work? I don't know. We'll find out. 2 weeks passed. Nothing from Brandon. No texts, no appearances, no violations. Maybe he finally gave up, Rachel said. Maybe. But I didn't believe it. Men like Brandon didn't give up. They waited. Grace was 2 weeks old when I got the call. Unknown number. I almost didn't answer. Hello? Is this Jack Anderson? Who's asking? This is Detective Sarah Walsh with the county police. I need to speak with you about Brandon Mitchell. My heart stopped. What happened? Can you come to the station? I'd rather discuss this in person. I drove there in a daze. Kept thinking. He did something. He hurt someone. And now it's going to blow back on us. Detective Walsh met me in a small room. 30s, professional, serious eyes. Mr. Anderson, I want to be clear. You're not in trouble. I just need to ask you some questions. About Brandon? About your interactions with Brandon. Specifically, did you visit his apartment 3 weeks ago? My throat went dry. Yes. Can you tell me what happened? I told him to stay away from my daughter. Did you threaten him? I told him there would be consequences if he continued harassing Emma. What kind of consequences? I didn't specify, just that he should take me seriously. Walsh wrote something down. Did you make any physical contact with him? No. Did he seem afraid of you? I hope so. That was the point. She looked at me for a long moment. He hanged himself in his apartment. The world tilted. What? His father found him. Left a note. Said he couldn't live with what he'd become. Said he was sorry for everything. I sat down. Couldn't breathe. We're investigating to make sure it was suicide. Part of that means talking to everyone who had recent contact with him. Several neighbors reported seeing you at his apartment. One said you looked angry. I was angry. My daughter was terrified. He was stalking her. I understand. And like I said, you're not in trouble. But I need to know if he said anything that suggested he might harm himself. I thought back. Brandon standing in his disaster apartment. The beer bottles. The desperation. He looked like he was falling apart. But he didn't say anything about suicide. Did you suggest he should hurt himself? No. I told him to leave my family alone. Walsh nodded. Made more notes. Okay. That matches what we're hearing from others. It looks like a straightforward suicide, but we have to be thorough. Does Emma know? Not from us. That would come from the family. I stood up, legs unsteady. Am I free to go? Yes, but if we have more questions, I'll be in touch. I drove home in shock, and I'd been the last person to threaten him. Rachel met me at the door, took one look at my face. What happened? Her hand went to her mouth. Oh my God. The police questioned me. About my visit to his apartment. What did you tell them? The truth, that I told him to stay away, that I made him understand there would be consequences. Did you? No, I didn't suggest suicide. I just told him to back off. Rachel pulled me inside. We sat in the kitchen. Does Emma know? Not yet. We should tell her before she hears it somewhere else. Emma was upstairs with Grace. We went up together. She was nursing when we knocked. Looked peaceful, happy even. What's wrong? She asked, seeing our faces. Emma, we need to tell you something, Rachel said. What? They found him in his apartment. He left a note. It was suicide. No. She shook her head. No, that can't be right. The police called me. They're investigating, but it looks straightforward. Emma's face crumpled, started crying. Not grief exactly, something else. Relief, maybe. Guilt. Confusion. Rachel held her while she sobbed. Grace started crying, too. Emma tried to comfort her, but couldn't. I took Grace, held her while Emma fell apart. I pushed him to this. No, you didn't, Rachel said firmly. He made his choices. All of them. This is not your fault. I could have tried harder. Could have helped him get help. You tried. He refused. You cannot save someone who doesn't want to be saved. Emma cried for a long time. Rachel stayed with her. I walked Grace around the house, rocking her, whispering that everything would be okay. But I wasn't sure it would be. That night, after Emma finally slept, Rachel and I sat in the dark kitchen. What did you say to him? Rachel asked quietly. What? At his apartment. What exactly did you say? I told her. About the threats. About making it clear there would be consequences. About trying to make him believe I was dangerous. Rachel was quiet for a long time. Do you think you pushed him to this? The question I'd been avoiding. I don't know. Maybe. I made him think I was more dangerous than I am. Made him think I had connections, power. What if that pushed him over the edge? Or what if he was already at the edge and just finally fell? We'll never know. No, we won't. We sat in silence. The house creaked. Somewhere upstairs, Grace made soft baby sounds. No, I'm not sorry either. But I am sorry Emma has to live with this, that she'll always wonder if she could have prevented it. She couldn't have. I know that. You know that. But will she ever believe it? I didn't have an answer. The next few days were strange. Brandon's father called Emma, told her about the service, asked if she wanted to come. She said no. I can't, she told us. I can't stand in front of people and pretend I'm sad. I'm not sad. I'm relieved. Does that make me a monster? It makes you honest, I said. His father blames me. He said so on the phone, said I drove his son to this. His father is wrong. Is he? Brandon started falling apart when I left. Lost his job, his home, everything. He lost those things because of his own actions, because he lied, because he was violent, because he couldn't control himself, not because you left. Emma wanted to believe that. I could see it. But the guilt was there, bright and sharp and toxic. The funeral was on a Friday. Emma stayed home with Grace. Rachel and I went, not because we wanted to, but because it seemed right, to witness, to close the circle. Brandon's father saw us, glared, didn't speak. The service was small, maybe 20 people. The pastor gave a generic eulogy about loss and redemption and God's plan. I sat there thinking about Brandon standing in his apartment, about the desperation in his eyes, about whether my threats had pushed him over the edge, wondered if I was a murderer who'd never touched his victim. After the service, Brandon's father approached us. I'm sorry for your loss, I said. You're sorry? You destroyed him. You and your daughter. He loved her. He would have done anything for her, and she threw him away like garbage. Your son was abusive. He violated restraining orders. He stalked my daughter. He made mistakes. He was trying to get help. He broke into her apartment. Because she wouldn't talk to him, she cut him off completely. Because he was dangerous. He was scared, alone. And you? He pointed at me. You threatened him, in his own home. Told him you'd destroy him. Rachel grabbed my arm. We should go. But I stayed. I told him to leave my family alone. That's all I did. You pushed him to this. You know you did. Your son made his own choices. But I'm not sorry he can't hurt my daughter anymore. Brandon's father lunged at me. I stepped back. People grabbed him, pulled him away. We left quickly. In the car, Rachel was shaking. That was awful. Yeah. Do you think he's right? That you pushed Brandon to it? I pushed him. I don't know if I pushed him to suicide, but I pushed him. To protect Emma. To protect Emma. Then you did what you had to do. I wanted to believe that, but the doubt was there, sharp and persistent. That night, Detective Walsh called again. Mr. Anderson, I wanted to let you know we've closed the case. Suicide, no evidence of foul play. I won't need to speak with you again. Okay, thank you. And Mr. Anderson, for what it's worth, you did what any father would do. You protected your daughter. Brandon Mitchell was on a destructive path long before you got involved. Don't carry guilt that doesn't belong to you. She hung up. I sat there with the phone in my hand. Wondered if she was right. Wondered if it mattered.